With inflation now at 8.6% and food prices rising the fastest in 40 years, Americans are trying to find ways to get by, and that means less spending.
It's really kind of tough, because you want to have everything provided, but everything is so high.
I'm dipping in savings so that I can live.
Credit card debt, which dipped during the pandemic as Americans used government stimulus checks to pay down balances, has rebounded to all-time highs. As Americans tighten their belts and close their pocketbooks, it puts even more downward pressure on the economy, pushing it toward recession. Almost half of economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal say a recession is likely in the next 12 months. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen still insists a recession is not inevitable.
Clearly, inflation is unacceptably high. It's President Biden's top priority to bring it down.
But retail sales slowed last month for the first time this year, including a 4% drop in car sales. Americans have begun pulling back on spending, especially on services rather than goods. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers says all signs point to a recession.
The dominant probability would be that by the end of next year, we would be seeing a recession in the American economy.
Record fuel prices are another major inflationary pressure reverberating through the economy. While Yellen says the administration would consider suspending the federal gas tax, about 18 cents a gallon, that would not make a huge difference.
Next time you go to the grocery store, the hardware store, you buy something online, you're going to pay for it. Or I should say you're going to pay much more for it, given the fact that diesel prices now are approaching $6 a gallon for a national average.
But the biggest reason by far for inflation, according to analyst Joel Griffith, has been runaway government spending.
Look, we spent around $6 trillion extra over the past 2 years than we normally spent, and nearly every last dollar of that was printed by the Fed and used to purchase government debt. That's why we have inflation right now.
One thing economists seem to agree on, there will be no easy way out of this economic mess. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
And there won't be any easy way out. And for average Americans, we're all feeling the pain. You just fill up your tank at the gas station and you go, ouch. Every price I'm experiencing has gone up, and you just look at it and go, well, I need to cut back on my spending. I need to really reduce what I'm spending money on, because there seems to be a whole lot more month right now than there is money to go around. And that will lead to a recession. I really don't care what economists say, that half of them say yes, half of them say no. There's another poll out that says that 60% of CEOs are predicting a recession. What does that mean? That means less investment. You're not going to take a risk. You're not going to go out there and establish new product lines. You're not going to invest in new plants. You're not going to do those things that normally grow an economy because you think a recession is coming. Inflation is absolutely going to kill the consumer. You have to pull back on your spending. You don't want to go into debt. And with that will mean less money floating through the economy. That always leads to some kind of a recession. So will it be this year? Will it be next year? Larry Summers is predicting at the end of next year. Now, what do you and I do? Number one, please don't get into the temptation of using a credit card thinking this is somehow going to go away. You're just going to make the problem worse. Credit card interest is already at 20% for some cards. That's not going down. And when you have that kind of interest rate on credit card debt, you're digging a hole you really can't get out of. So please don't use credit cards. If you're in adjustable rate mortgages, realize in that adjustment time, the Federal Reserve is absolutely raising interest rates. So what will that adjustment be? And please protect yourself from that kind of future where your mortgage payment is going to go way up.